the third and fourth worst weeks of the entire year for Bitcoin, and we're smack dab in the middle of one of them right now. But before we get going, smash that like button, subscribe if you've been with us for a while and haven't done so yet. Check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description, as well as the channel bio. We've still got some wonderful products here. We got our Trade Cave logo, Sir Doge, Lord of Maximum Coinage. That is still my favorite. I wear that one every week. And let's get into it. Week 36 and 37 generally get an average of minus 2.5 for this week, and for next week minus 2.66, and that is the third and fourth worst week respectively, the worst week being week 14 of the year and the second worst week being week 2 of the year. We can scroll this back here real quick and show it to you. Week 14 right here, minus 4.79 on average for that week, and week 2, second week of each year, average minus 2.69 since Bitcoin's inception. And this week right now we are giving it the third worst reading. No, sorry, fourth. I was right the first time. Fourth worst reading ever. So 2021, 2018 were really, really bad. 2017 was pretty bad, and 2015 was pretty bad, but we're doing worse than that right now. This is the fourth worst reading thus far. We'll see how that goes. Last week, on the 35th week, it was the second. I can't speak today. The second worst performance of that week since Bitcoin's inception. We'll see where we'll land this week on Bitcoin. Let's go to the monthlies though. We're looking September. September on average is a minus 4.95. We're honestly past that already right now with a minus 6.85. We closed out August with a minus 8.6, with their average in August honestly being up 1.75% and the median being minus 8. So we reached the median on that one. We're also reaching for the median on September as well here, with the median return in September on Bitcoin being minus 6.21. We're currently at 6.85. So we are reaching for that one as well. September is shaping up to be a just terrible month. However, October on average returns 22.9%. November on average returns 46.81%. So we are looking at nearly a 70% plus return in the next 2 months after September. So let's hang on to that hope there, especially since we're in a halving year. And the last halving year, 2020, we got 27 and 42% respectively in October and November. The halving before that was 2016. We got a 14% and a 5% up in October and November respectively there. So halving years tend to be pretty good for October and November on Bitcoin, so we are expecting to see that come through here in the next couple of months on Bitcoin. All right, we're going to look at that chart here in a second, but first I want to update you on U.S. economic data. So today we had the unemployment report came out. It came out weaker than expected, so there was less job creation. Okay, unemployment rate came in as expected at 4.2. If that came in hotter, we would have seen a big move out of the bonds, but it came in on par. So we saw a spike in the morning, and then it dropped off later on as the day has been going on here. And then the unemployment report is why that spike came in. So initially it's like, oh, there's less jobs available, unemployment is going to be high, and then like unemployment numbers also came out, and they're like, oh, maybe it's just going in alignment. And the hourly wages rose by 0.4% for the month of August, a little bit higher than expected. The expectation was 0.3%, so wage inflation is still kind of going there. And we had a Fed speak this morning. They're already done for here, and we'll look at the market here as well. It's going to be a pretty brutal thing, but yeah, that's not important. So we saw that, and let's look at the bonds here. So we expected the bonds to jump off of the news of unemployment rising, right? Because that's what they want. And it came in as expected, but new jobs were low. So that's indicating that the future will hold more unemployment. So we saw that big move up. That's what that spike was, up to 63 this morning. But this candle, so we had this nice big volume here, but this candle has a big old wick on top. So even though this volume down here is green, most of that is selling. So this is a very heavily defended zone for the bears up here at 63. It did not want to see them go up to 63. In fact, it looks like it's going to make a pretty ugly doji here, like almost a gravestone doji here for the day if it closes like this on TMF. But I am closing away from my red line here. This if it closes where it currently is, and then tomorrow opens and closes above this red line, preferably also above that green line, above the $60 level, I might be going in on some bonds. Not tomorrow, that'll be Monday. Tomorrow's Saturday. On Monday, I might be going in on some bonds here if that holds through over the weekend and into the open on Monday. We also saw, let's look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin sold off pretty bad. Let me get rid of that box. So we are outside of this smaller descending channel. So we had a descending channel and it broke to the downside. Bitcoin does that sometimes. It doesn't like to follow the, this is what we expect to happen sort of situations all the time. It's pretty bearish right now on Bitcoin for the daily. But if we look at the RSI here, we are getting a lower low, right? Basically a lower low on the body, the candle body, and a higher low on the RSI. That's divergence. We're seeing some RSI divergence right here. You see how the low, let me go like this. See how this low over here was at what? 26 when it got down to this level here, 53. Now, of course, it did wick further down, but the body closed about there, and we're going to close below that body there. And that's kind of what matters to me. And even back here, the RSI back here on 53,000, July 5th. August 5th, July 5th, interesting. September 6th, ooh, very close to each other. Each month, 1 month apart. We're getting some lows here coming in. Is that a new pattern? I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, the RSI is higher now than it was back here as well. So we're getting some RSI divergence in the Bitcoin chart as it's reaching these lows. I am getting suspicious of a pretty big move up here once we see this trend line right here from this smaller descending channel break to the upside. What I think is going to happen right now is I think we're going to get a similar move to like what we saw right here, right? And I think we're going to see that here. We're going to see a couple of days of it coming down, staying low, and then jab its way back up real fast. That's what I'm looking for on Bitcoin right now. Let's take a look at the miners. I've been buying miners. Now, I have been buying CleanSpark, of course, right? I have been very vocal about that. I have been buying CleanSpark. It is in oversold territory right now. The RSI is down at 26. Okay, it's down at 26. It's pretty low. Now we've got the chart still looks terrible, right? It still looks terrible. We need to get above the 20-day moving average, which is currently at $9.69. That's when we get bullish again. I have been increasing my position of CleanSpark because even if CleanSpark only ever gets back up to, and I think it's going to go higher than this, but even if it only ever gets back to this area of consolidation back here, like let's just say it gets back to the center of that area of consolidation, that's a 100% move. I mean, that's not exactly what I want from CleanSpark. I wanted like a 200, 300, 400% move out of CleanSpark originally, but if I see something that is pretty consistently going to likely return me 100%, I'll take it. Like honestly, even if we just get back up to this bear flag that I clocked here the other week, if we just get back up to there, that's a 50% return. I mean, most people would be very happy with that. And I won't be like happy with it because I was expecting more out of Bitcoin miners, but I would take it. I'll take a 100% move. Why not? And if it does what we think it's going to do, let me turn off these Bollinger Bands here. If it eventually does what we think it's going to do, which is, I gotta zoom out to the weekly. If it does what we think it's going to do, that would be more of a move of, by Christmas, we'd be looking at like, let's say 31. Yeah, it'd be about almost a 300% move if it can hit 31. That's totally possible. Now this cup and handle back here, this thing's pretty much, this one, the Giga Cup that I've been talking about for a really long time, this one right here, this is pretty much invalidated now. But I do think it's more of a fake out sort of situation. God, I have so many lines on here. I do think it's more of a fake out situation. Like, let me draw this here. Let me go here and to about right there. So we went well below the midpoint on that. If we're able to return, like flip around and come up on this quickly, then I would say that cup and handle is still intact and this was a fake out breakdown. But technically this cup is broken at this point. Technically that cup is broken. I'll still be talking about it because I do still see some life in it potentially, but it is technically broken for now. So that's important to understand there. Right now, today, so on the ATR bands, we are playing at the bottom of the ATR bands. We're actually below it. Generally, when we get below the lower ATR band, we tend to pop back up into it and try to at least come, maybe halfway or up to that yellow line at some point, which is currently at 1142. That would be nice for us. That would be a really good move. Now, since we closed a couple of days ago below the August 5th low, that meant that we were going to go to the lower support. The lower support is still all the way down here at 753. So we could drop another dollar. Well, 765. We could drop about another dollar before this thing turns around. So be prepared for that. Be mentally prepared to potentially drop a whole another dollar on CleanSpark, and you better believe that I have been DCAing at these levels. I haven't been going in super heavy. I've been DCAing into this, dollar cost averaging into this now. And of course, none of this is financial advice or a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. But I have been dollar cost averaging into this position here, and if it drops another dollar, that's when I'm going to go heavy. One more dollar, I start going heavier. If I see a bounce after it goes down one more dollar, I go quite heavily into this. Let's take a look at IREN. IREN is the other one I've been buying at these lows. We haven't surpassed the August 5th lows yet on this. I suspect that those August 5th lows are the lowest that IREN is likely to go, and if it goes any lower, I don't think it will stay there very long. This area right now, I have been accumulating IREN. I am trying to get my IREN up closer to 1,000 shares. I know that's not a lot for some of you, but for me, that's kind of a lot. You know, that's like $6,000 dedicated to a very risky position. That's significant in my opinion. Also, if we look at the way that this formed down here, right here, this was a pretty interesting falling wedge that did a little fake out breakdown there, right? Like little interesting falling wedge that didn't really play out. So we're looking for that to potentially, once we get above this 871 again, we're looking for this to come up fast all the way up into like the teens on IREN once that breaks. And basically everything you pick up right now at 648, we are looking at, we're looking at a, let's see, we want to go about there. We're looking at about 100% return on that too, that I'm looking for sometime soon after this decides to stop falling. If we're going for the lowest low area here, we're looking at, because if it gets down here, I'm going to buy, I'll be buying if it gets down there. And we get back up into this resistance up here in the teens, yeah, we're looking at, a little over a 100% return versus a little under. So we're looking at about 100% return, and I'm looking for that sometime in October, November. Like I just mentioned before, October, November, best months of the year for Bitcoin, meaning that it will soon after, maybe December, January, be the best month of the year for these stocks here. And we'll take a look at that too in seasonality as we go forward. Probably not in this episode. We might look at some, but we'll see on unusual whales and look at the seasonality for some of these. Now, Bitfarms got into an interesting position today. Bitfarms is at the bottom of the ATR bands. Okay, it's at $1.79. Remember, I said if it broke this bear flag broke down, that we would be coming back into the 180s, 170s, and look where we are. We're at the 180s, 170s. Again, I have been buying Bitfarms here. I have been buying Bitfarms here again. Now, we will be bullish again on Bitfarms when it gets above 244. So it's got to get above 244. Currently, the lows that I'm expecting it to potentially reach is 168 again. I do think that we may get one more little shock here in the next couple of weeks that send us to the low August 5th lows once more, giving us a double bottom. That's what I'm looking for down there. I'm looking for a double bottom. If it breaks these lows, if it goes under 166, that's when I'm going to start sweating. I'm going to start sweating when we get under 166, because our next level of support is all the way down at like 120s, in the 120s, once we break that level from August 5th. So there's not any really real support beneath us all the way down to the 120s on Bitfarms. So I'm looking for that double bottom. If it doesn't give us that double bottom, we're gonna have some turmoil coming forward in Bitfarms. Okay, well, let's move on. Let's see how BitDigital is doing today. How is BitDigital doing today? Same thing, is coming to the lows. Again, it got below this sector here, this section of support here at 252 a few days ago. We're down at, 285 a few days ago. We're at 252 right now. We break 250 on BitDigital. And honestly, I don't see it going much lower than $2. I would say BitDigital is probably going to hold $2. So let me draw that on there. I think it's going to hold $2. I don't see it really going below $2, and if it does, it'll just peek its head below $2. It hasn't gone below $2 since early 2023, so over a year and a half ago. Okay, it went under $2 during April this year. Sorry, excuse me, I misspoke. It's peaked its head below $2, but it hasn't like traded solidly below $2 since April 2023. So over a year and a half since it's been like stuck under $2. That's I see $2 as potentially still being a pretty hefty zone. I am looking at this lower high here. I would like this to not make a lower low. If we go under $2, we make a lower low, and then that's when I get scared, because I'll show you right now. Because this low right here would be the bottom of this big old formation right there. That is the worst drawing I've ever done. Let me redo that. Let me redo that. Oh, yeah, okay. I suck at this. All right, give me a second. Give me a second. We go here. All right, let's use a touch screen. And then we come right here, this structure right there. That is where we're seeing those lows at. If we get underneath the lows of that structure, we're in trouble. So that would be, basically under $2. If we get under $2, we're in trouble, because that takes out this leg, this big leg up, making it a lower low. If we turn around anywhere in here and get higher than 442, then we're making higher lows, higher highs. Anything below $2, and we're going to be making lower lows. And that is a problem, especially with this lower high right here that came in August 22nd. So that is important to remember on Bit Digital. I'm still bullish on Bit Digital. We are making a megaphone right here. We broke this white line, actually. That's bad. We're making a bit of a megaphone right here. So this one here, and then we'll go about right there. Whoop. Megaphone. We're making a megaphone again. Remember when we were making a megaphone down here somewhere? Can't remember where I drew it. I think it was like here, right? When it was going up like that and down like that. We're making a megaphone here, and we are likely on the bottom of it right now. If we break that, we're going to come down to $2. If we don't break that, we could find ourselves as high as way the heck up here, back up to this line up here at sometime in the near future. That's what we're looking at right now. So it breaks down any lower, we're going to $2. If it turns around and gets above 440, 440-ish, then we're back in bull territory on Bit Digital. All right, let's take a look at WULF. WULF. What do I say about WULF? All right, WULF is this is a I don't like this formation right here. It's doing a lot of price action underneath that mid ATR band. I don't care for that. I'm also getting like a pink, a red, and an arrow there. I'm getting a lot of indicators to the downside here. This indicator down here, the easy exit entry thing, I'm just going to call it my fancy MACD, is showing me some bearishness there as well on WULF. I really don't like that it's getting stuck underneath this mid ATR band. It makes me feel like it could revisit the lows down here about 329. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move this line to about right there, about 330-ish. I'm looking for it potentially to come back to 330 and then bounce. That's what I want to see. I want to see it bounce at 330, or take out the mid ATR band at 436. One of those two things has got to happen. We're under we're in bear territory on the RSI as well as on my fancy MACD there. Yeah, this is not looking good anymore for WULF since this failed. Unless we come up and take out this high here at 496. Unless we take out 496, which I'll move this here about right now, 498, whatever. It's close. We got to take out this white line on top here. Once we take that line out, then we are trucking again on our way up, just kind of stair-stepping our way up. If we come down to 330 again and we don't bounce like immediately, that's going to be kind of rough. One thing that I do like about this though, so one thing, this candle here, this volume is betraying it. It's a very small candle with very big volume. This is a very big candle with very low volume. That's not good. That is one indicating that for this candle here yesterday that the sellers were strong, because even though the bulls were coming in and we got a green candle, they had to fight hard for that tiny little candle. Now sometimes you get a candle like this, right, where the bulls fought real hard and barely got any movement, and then the next day it explodes. But on this one, the next day it fell, and it fell on lower selling volume. So that is an indication that we could come lower on this one now. So I'm a little concerned about WULF coming back down to 330. And if we don't see serious bullish action at 330, like the buyers coming through, then I would be expecting it to go a little bit lower on WULF. All right, let's take a look at CORZ. CORZ. It's trucking along. Honestly, it's trucking along. Let's see here. Not too shabby. Let me see here. The volume, yeah, that pushed up a little bit, and then we got a lower volume one here. I mean, honestly, this could be a fake out, this candle here, because again, that's very low volume, but we're getting a bigger candle than the last 2 days here, even though this is looking like an evening star. If we get a flip around engulfing candle tomorrow or the next day, not tomorrow, next week, early next week, I would be expecting CORZ to go higher. If we take out the low here at 926, I would expect it to come lower. That's basically all I've got to say about CORZ right now on that. Let's take a look at Mara. I haven't looked at Mara or Riot. I haven't looked at Mara or Riot right now. So a couple of things to look at here. Mara is falling, but so is its volume. Let me draw a line here. Let me draw you a line. All right, right there. Boom. See how this is getting lower, but while price is getting lower, I mean, this came up on low volume, it's falling on lowering volume. So the volume is getting lower and lower and lower. This candle has the same volume out, has about the same volume output as this candle, right? And we're getting lower and lower and lower. So, I'm not too concerned about this, honestly. So we did take out this low right here, which isn't good. And we're below 13.29. So Mara right now could fall a bit lower to about $12. So we could see a $12 Mara. Let me draw a line at $12. Let me just do this. Take this in here right now. $12. So Mara could hit $12 even, right? Okay. I could do that. If it doesn't stop at $12 and turn around, it's coming down to that 1031 area down there, okay? That is likely to happen if Mara does not stop at $12 and turn around hard. It's going to have to turn around hard. Otherwise, we're going to have a bad time. And we're going to need to see some big old boys like this one right here, where we just got big volume, like a big volume bar that just engulfs these other volume bars and just shows a big green body, a god candle, if you will. We're going to need to see one of those to really pull Mara out of this tailspin it's in right now. If you notice here, this is looking very wavy. It's looking very wavy. We got 1, 2, 3, possibly 4, and 5. Maybe we might see like a pop up in like mid-September or so, and then like early October come back down and hit 12 or 10 on Mara. So watch out for this potentially being a wave. Like we got wave 1 here, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4 might be weaker, and then wave 5 might take us down to like 10, something like that, as the waves get weaker, because this wave is definitely weaker than that previous one. That one was just brutal. So that's potential there that we could be looking at a wave pattern, an Elliott wave, if you will. So Mara's not looking so good right now, but the volume is decreasing. I would like to see a pretty big turnaround at $12. I do think we might continue to drift down because, again, it is the worst 2 weeks, the third and fourth worst weeks of the year right now, and the worst month of the year right now for pretty much all equities. So I do think September's probably not going to surprise us and turn out good. I think it's probably just going to kind of peter around, putt around down near the lows here for the month, and then around mid-October we might just be like launch time, baby. I think that's what we're going to be looking at here. Let's take a look at Riot. How's Riot doing? Riot sucks. Riot sucks. All right, so it broke the ATR band, came up to the mid band, came all the way back down to the bottom ATR band once more. Now, again, just like Mara, the volume is falling as this is falling. So there are less and less sellers. The sellers are becoming exhausted over time, and that is good. That's what you want to see. But if for some reason they get reinvigorated, we could see Riot come even lower. I mean, honestly, could you see Riot coming from 13 all the way down to 645 in the matter of a month and a half, a month and a week? Could you have imagined that? In July we were trading up at like $13. Now, I know IREN did that. I know some others did that same type of move, but Riot was the biggest Bitcoin miner around for a while. It was last cycle, Mara was the only one that was able to outdo Riot in terms of size, scale, and price. Riot shouldn't be performing this badly. They're performing so badly right now. Meanwhile, they're just sitting there crying about Bitfarms. Stop crying about Bitfarms, guys. Get your stuff together. Get it all together, and just get it together. You're letting everyone down. That's what I'm trying to say, right? Stop letting everyone down. You were the biggest Bitcoin miner around. What happened? What are you doing? Stop screwing around. Turn this ship around. I don't own any Riot anymore. I sold out of mine at a loss before this big old drop here. I sold at a loss at around $9-ish because it just wasn't recovering, and it wasn't showing any promise whatsoever. And I'm glad I did that, because it just kept going and going and going down. At this point, Riot I'm sure it will come back at some point, but I mean, it's just been a complete disappointment so far right now. For Riot. It looks terrible. It looks terrible. Let's take a look at CIFR. All right, CIFR. CIFR, again, like I've been saying for a long time, since all that stuff came out about it being sold, and again, I haven't even been able to confirm it. There's been no new news regarding CIFR being for sale or buyer coming through or anything for them, or that they're not for sale anymore. Nothing has been coming through for CIFR in terms of news. So, and I've said that until we get clarity, it's going to drift sideways or down. And I mean, this sell-off since in late August is following the market, right? The whole market's been like sideways and down. And so has CIFR. And CIFR is actually, I mean, it's at an attractive level right now. It is at a pretty attractive level right now, 269. Not bad. It came down underneath this area here. It broke this descending channel here that I was expecting to break to the upside, and it just didn't. We're below the August 5th lows, way below the August 5th lows. If you're holding on to CIFR, I am sorry. This one is rough. Where this trend line is broken, this one is done. We're outside of the lower ATR band. We might even run for the lower lows down here at 234, maybe even 213 on CIFR. Yeah, that's rough. I don't like it. It's very rough. We will see better days when it can break that line there. Okay, we'll see better days when it can break that line right there. That green line, that's our signal that better days are ahead for CIFR. And of course, once they do that, it also has to get through this box here. So it's got to break that line and this box. It's got to break that line and that box. Then we're looking at better days for CIFR. Until then, it's going to be kind of a rough time for CIFR. Anyways, that's all I've got for you today. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video if you found it informative or entertaining. Check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description, as well as the channel bio, and have a profitable day.